Okay, I wanted to talk today about security, our security, human security, and what that means and what that doesn't mean. And I want what you feel, how you see it, what you don't see it. I want to do a 4 square about it and see where everybody stands on it. So, what's human security? What isn't it? Where?
Feeling safe, like physically, emotionally, and psychologically. Just having an environment that's safe. That you
Okay. I agree. Absolutely. And anything else? Yeah.
I think it was a Monday night class where Ian explained, I don't remember how many there were, but it was like emotional, psychological, economic, physical,
environment.
Environment.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, there's the whole debate over which should be more important: freedom from fear for one's physical safety, and freedom from want, which
Right.
would be freedom from not having one's most fundamental needs met.
Right. So, okay. So which one do people feel? Should there be a argument of, oh, this is more important than this one?
Both important.
I think they're both
Equally important.
All right, so now I'm living in a totalitarian society and I have my basic needs met, but I have fear for my life.
Yeah.
Then what?
Then what's the point?
Yeah.
You have nothing.
Right.
You have torture in a way. It's a,
Well,
you know you're going to keep living
right. Well,
in bad circumstances.
but externally, I have all my thing, but internally, how many people feel that that's safe? It isn't a back and forth between the two. It's all encompassing. Yeah, it really is. It's all encompassing.
And especially because if you're not having your most fundamental needs met, you're in physical danger.
That's right. So let me just read that back and forth from want and fear fails to take into account the internal experience of security. And that's what I work with, internal experience of security. If someone is in a strife-torn region, has internalized insecurity and become identified with it, then improving their external circumstances will not remove their experience of insecurity, and they will then work, perhaps unconsciously, to recreate familiar insecurities, thereby perpetuating external as well as internal strife. How many times have you've changed jobs, now it's all better, and it's wonderful now. Oh my God, it's great. And lo and behold, the new boss that just showed up is the exact same boss, in quotes, that I had before. Or we unwittingly will keep recreating. Though we think it's going to be all new. So if we don't take the insecurity out of ourselves, then we're only going to recreate it. So did it start from outside? Did it start from inside?
inside.
Inside. Now, a lot of people will disagree with that. Why?
Because they won't take responsibility.
Right. And
Or they simply
external to always trigger.
I didn't create that horrible person out there that was shooting and killing people. Well then, okay, on a small level, who didn't create it? small self. So the character, my character, is my character creating? God's creating. What does the character do?
Reacts and figures out what your role in that particular scene of that play is going to
Right.
be.
So if I have a character that likes to be the victim, and that's where my character in the play is, what's going to happen?
I'm reading for that part.
Who wants to read for the abuser? Anyone here?
Some people.
Some people really do.
Yeah.
What do they call themselves?
Victim.
Leaders?
Confident.
Confident? They're demanding. They also they know what's best.
Big one.
Big one. They know what's best. They know what's best for you. You don't know. What else? What about the victim? Is the victim innocent?
Not at all.
Not at all.
No.
Still plugged into the game.
Yeah.
Plugged into the game, and is the victim. I always see a victim as an abuser
Of the self, yeah. Because
of themselves, and what else?
And the other,
I mean,
And
because you know that they plug in to that specific role, and they, and all of us, when we're attached to that character, you seek out those people and
It's
those
an
situations,
enabler.
and you know exactly where to go. I mean, it's it's premeditated. I mean,
I could. What?
It's manipulative. They know how to be manipulate the situation.
So that what
They
happens?
look victimized, right?
Yeah, I just.
Along the lines of what Allie was saying, the victim plays the enabler role. So if you decided not to be the victim in that situation, you wouldn't be giving any power to the abuser, I guess.
The victim encourages.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
He encourages the abuser. How?
The victim like bullies. It's like you got to play that part because this is the only part I play. So it's like you seek people out and say, you need to play that part.
Do they call themselves victims?
Yes.
No.
Not always. Good people.
Good people.
Good people, nice people,
Compassionate.
loving, caring, loving. So, anything else? Internal security is passed on from generation to generation within a community. What does that mean?
You learn what the rules are when you're growing up as to how to deal with.
So where do we learn to be insecure?
In our home.
Our home, our first great teachers who teach us what?
Whatever they're bringing to the table.
What they're bringing to the table. They're just going to be doing what they bring to the table.
Mm-hmm.
It's our responsibility is that what we're going to be doing is we're going to assess according to what our character, what our life lessons are. So can two siblings look at parents and see completely different?
Yeah.
Yes, completely differently.
Not only can they will.
Yeah, yeah. So what that is it's not going to be, it's based on our particular, and sometimes, the parents don't even know that they're doing what they're doing. Because they may be just living, but they have a vibration that then the child picks up that's supposed to, that vibration, to learn from it and to grow from it. and they'll grow into fear for their lives when in fact it wasn't that they had that. Now, there may be that the parents are worried about money or something, but they then fear for their lives. You understand? They create that vibration will be translated by the character. So that then, as they grow, what's going to happen?
They have to recreate
You
that.
seek it out.
They seek it out and recreate it.
I think
Absolutely.
what happens when you seek it out, but it kind of dressed up a little differently. You know?
Absolutely.
Just to kind of, so you think it's something different.
It's totally different, and don't even know that it has anything related to
Right.
past.
Right.
And that we unwittingly are going to keep on recreating our right. Go ahead.
One of my favorite things is when people are venting or complaining and they say things like, "Why does this keep happening to me?"
That's exactly yeah. Because and what I usually say when people say that is, oh, who is the one person that is in all those situations? Oh, you are. And that's the issue. Yes. Okay, so taking the person out of the problem resolves nothing unless you also take the problem out of the person. If you only remove the problem, everyone will return to the same familiar playing field. Example was somebody David found worked with that had grown up in Afghanistan during the Soviet occupation.
You want me to?
Yes, you tell the story.
So she, was a nice kid, and I was tutoring her. It was, in the late 80s. And she was very respectful, very polite, lovely, worked hard, and seemed to have everything going for her. And one day we took a break and walked down the hall to the soda machine because she wanted a soda. And she put her change in, and the machine didn't function and didn't give her a soda. And she immediately flew into a rage and started beating and kicking the machine, screaming, "I'll kill you, I'll kill you, I'll kill you."
Had she taken insecurity out of her? No, the problem was still in her. Even though she now did not have to fear for her life, and she had her basic wants, except for in that situation. And what happened is that she then has to, because, and this is where we look at it and people will go look at each other and go, "Ooh, that's weird," because it looks like she has nothing but a machine now to be the abuser. But she will do that. And it will have the experience no different than it would have been back in Afghanistan. So we, again, if we don't take it out of us. And so for each of us, whether we have fear for our lives, our basic needs, or something else, we're going to keep recreating the vibration that keeps us in the same story, the same narrative. How do we get rid of it?
Recognize it first.
Right.
Have to recognize it. Are you committed to the problem, the conflict, because it makes you feel like you have a sense of purpose? Or do you want to get rid of it? I mean, a lot of people like to keep it.
Home base.
Home base.
Yes.
And we keep making a home run. No matter what kind of bases we have, we end up at the home run. Is your small self invested not in transforming the conflict, but in perpetuating it?
Yes.
And then, who gets to be in charge? Small self. So are you willing to be without a job, without a purpose? And actually be free? That's the question we have to keep asking ourselves. Are we willing to be without a job? So, how do we resolve? We acknowledge, then what? Well, we can do a foursquare. So let's do a foursquare on secure from the standpoint of activity. Opposite, insecure. What's the negative of secure in terms of action?
Complacent.
Complacency. Yes, complacent. Look at that. I'm secure. I don't have to do, I'm fine. Am I secure or complacent? You have to be really careful with that. Am I really seeing things as they really are? Because if I'm not clear and clean, I'm going to start looking at I'm going to be complacent, and I'm going to think everything is safe. And it's not. So what's positive of insecure?
You have to have a certain amount of awareness.
Right. Right. But I had challenged.
Mm-hmm.
You're being challenged. I'm being challenged in terms of action. And from an emotional standpoint, what's secure? I'm secure. Arrogant. I'm a know-it-all. I'm secure. I'm fine. I had somebody once come here that somebody else had brought them, and they didn't realize what was happening. And they looked at me, and this person was alcoholic, all kinds of issues, all kinds of everything, and they said they were fine. They were totally fine, and they had no intention of doing anything. And I said, that's great. I'm happy you're happy. Do I need to fight? No. Happy you're happy. They were so sure that they were fine. Positive of insecure from an emotional standpoint. Humble, modest, learner. Yeah. So that then we can start to see. All right. So one of the examples I came up with for being secure and negatively was the 1930s in Germany. The German Jews were so sure they were Germans. They would be fine. Nobody was going to do anything with them. They were going to be fine. They were just going to ride out this thing, and they'd be fine.
People thought Hitler was a flash in the pan. That's what they kept saying.
That's right.
He's a kook, and
he'll go, and
right.
There you go.
Actually, I guess it was Thursday was Holocaust Remembrance Day,
Mm.
and we read I read a story from a little girl's perspective about that, and that's one of the things that she kept going back to. Her grandfather and her father, they were German.
Mm-hmm.
They were German. They kept saying that.
Right. They were so sure. They were in their. There was a know-it-all. There's an arrogance that then doesn't allow us to see what's actually going on. We become naive. We become stupid, and we don't actually see what's really, really going on. And they wouldn't allow an insecurity to come in where they would then be able to learn and say, oops, things are not doing, no, this is not heading in the right direction. I need to take care.
I have a question. In that vein, but even more extreme, you take a place like North Korea, the most totalitarian state on the planet. You could look at somebody cross-eyed, and your whole family can end up in a prison camp. So
Right.
How does one handle themselves in that situation? Because that's even more extreme than the
Right.
than the Nazi one.
Right.
I mean, something
That's
like a
because
quarter
of
of the people
everybody.
in the country are in prison camps.
Right. So what do you have to do in order to live? You have to be invisible. So what do? You know you have to, there's where you're challenged, because in order to survive in a healthy, and I use that word loosely, healthy way, you have to be boring in so that there is no external expression that would give you away, reveal, and that you are not attached to, because a lot of people who will fight and end up not successfully doing anything is that they cannot stand it another minute. They have to do this or look that way or something.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if you completely disentangle from that character so that you are completely appropriate to the situation without lying about your own sense of morality and truth, then you can survive. But you have to really disentangle.
So,
that's if you're not going to be, if it's not, see, the issue for the German Jews were they were Jews, so that they couldn't hide that. But if they could have, which is what they did with a lot of children being sent into and being brought up as Christian, they could survive.
Mm-hmm.
But
So do you think anybody in North Korea is doing that?
probably. There's
few.
got to be one or two. At least one or two.
Yeah.
There's got to be people there that are doing. Russia, do you remember, during the whole Soviet phase where you looked cross-eyed, your neighbor was going to. How about this country? Safe? Is it safe now? What's happening?
Polarization
Mm-hmm.
Political correctness.
in politics and media.
Yeah, political correctness.
Yeah, and people, can you say what you want to say? You have to be careful. It's heading in that direction.
Or you can say what you want to say in certain venues, even if it's hateful and intimidating,
Right.
in an obvious way.
Right, because go ahead.
Because the discourse has just become degraded that much.
Right. Yeah,
I mean,
people.
And look at what's happening, in the news right now with just the Catholic Church.
Mm-hmm.
The intimidation of the nuns
Mm-hmm.
who have been running hospitals and ministering to the poor and all that sort of stuff, now being investigated for not towing the line on homosexuality and
Abortion.
And abortion. Gay marriage
Right.
and abortion. There's just,
Yep. Yep.
the enforcement of value systems is getting more and more ruthless on every side.
Right. So we're actually cruel to each other.
The other thing that we do so much nowadays is medicine. It's just everywhere. You're constantly being drugged. Like there's always a new drug to fix.
Right. Did anyone see that there's going to be a blood test or something
Yeah.
for depression?
Oh, wonderful.
Blood.
Yep. Yep.
It's like we're obsessed with finding a solution to every single thing, and it doesn't end up being a solution.
Well, we're
honest at all.
particularizing. What happens when you particularize all out there? Are you then safe? No, because what we're doing is now we have this little group and they have this little group. And this goes back to Ray Bradbury's coda for Fahrenheit 451, where he talks about people complaining about, he should have put more women in this book and he shouldn't have done that. Why did you only have this? And he said that that's where that Fahrenheit 451 very much is out there, that one group, if we look at it, you can't say anything bad about this group because then you're going to get sued and ostracized and you have to publicly apologize. Doesn't that look a little bit like we keep on thinking about the Chinese, where you've got to, they were publicly humiliated and had to apologize during the Cultural Revolution, whereas we're supposed to be free. This is free right now? Is it free? So you start to go, okay, is it really secure? Where is it? What are we doing? And am I insecure? Do I feel safe? Am I using other words like I'm just cynic, skeptical, all kinds, those other words? Am I willing to be all of the above so that I can then see? So again, back to security, I have to now own being secure and being okay with it. How many people who love insecurity are willing to own security? Not going to happen. Security is looked at as what? Boring, dull, oppressive.
Yeah.
It's not exciting. It's not alive. So we have to own security. We have to own insecurity. We have to be okay with being insecure. So if I don't like insecure, if I don't like that vibration, first I'm going to do is blame the outside. No, I've got to sit with that experience. I have to be able to not numb the vibration, not run from the vibration. In order to resolve, I have to experience it. I have to own it, master it, transcend it. I have to let myself experience the vibration I don't like to have that actually runs me. So I tend to run from, so who's in charge? The experience I don't like to have.
Small self.
Small self is like field day. I'm always running from it. No, I can't look at that. No, I can't see that. No, I can't. No, turn around, look in. What am I doing? What am I doing? What is the vibration that I look through every day and then project onto the world whatever it is that I do? So, back to places where it really war-torn environments. That was one of the reasons I hated that movie, Life is Beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, it was so belittling of the experience of what was actually had gone on for people. Made a joke of it. So, I face reality. This is what I have. What do I then have to do? Let's say we're in war-torn. It's not safe. Or totalitarian. It's not safe. What do we do?
Well, first accept. You just accept it. You say, okay, this is what I have. This is where I am. And let myself feel. Then I'm insecure and scared and all that. And say, okay.
Okay, absolutely. Then what can we start to do?
So as you sit with the experience, it starts to change.
Mm-hmm. Right. It starts to become an object, right?
Mm-hmm.
We disentangle from it. So my character is scared for its life. And we're not talking, very important, we're not talking about dissociating, because that's still the character. We're talking about the actor. Is the actor scared for its life? No. It's only the character. Well, there's my character scared for its life. Okay, there's the character. Great. I can play that part. I can be appropriate to the environment and to the scene. Now, as I then quiet it, does that mean I think everything's okay? No. Now I can actually discern what's actually going on, that I'm not projecting everything to it. I can see what I can do, what I can't do, how I can live, how I can't live. Yeah.
I was going to say, like, what I was thinking of is, okay, well, what kinds of things do I need? And then if you're in that place, then you can, like you said, discern how to go about getting those needs met.
Right. Otherwise, there's no, yeah. Now, let's say I can't get my needs met.
Well, then that would be something else that you would have, like, but again, you have to be in that, that place so that you can then react, go about handling that,
You have to be able to be disentangled enough to make a decision, to discern what to do or not to do. Because otherwise, if I'm reacting, and I'm reacting based on my small self that's always been reacting, I'm probably going to end up not being successful in terms of what I think I want. If I'm committed to insecurity, I'm going to maintain insecurity. If I'm committed to not having my wants and my needs met, I'm going to continue to do that. So I have to get off the dichotomy completely and be bore in. Arjuna, he was in war torn. Did he want to fight? No, he didn't want to fight. What did he want to do? I want to run away. He didn't want to fight. And that was so his small self. That's my uncle, my cousins. I don't want to fight them. So much that environment. His family. And what did Krishna do? Snap out of it. Let me show you the truth. And he learned that the truth was that he was everything and he was nothing. Yeah.
Bhishma didn't want to fight either. But he knew it was his job.
That's right.
So he fought on the other side.
That's right.
Until, and he was the best warrior there. So Krishna ultimately had to defeat him. And if I remember correctly, he kneels down and offers his head to Krishna.
I don't remember.
I can't remember exactly what happens, but it's like... Yeah, he's all right too. He knows.
Yeah, he knows. He didn't even have to be...
He didn't have to be told.
Told. He didn't need Krishna as his charioteer. He knew already. He was already... But he knew his part. He knew his part, knew what he was playing. He was the actor, not the character. Oh my God, this is a great play. Let's enjoy it. Oh my God, this will be heroic. It's going to be fun. But if we're attached to our body and to our small self, to our individuality, this is not always a great play. And we're then not doing what's right for ourselves and for everyone else. And we're all about our own insecurity. We're striving for security of what? Our small self. And so we will hurt other people in order to climb to get, we will do mama monkey, baby monkey, in order to get our own sense of security. We will throw our child on the ground and step on it in order to get our own sense of security. Not good. What's my motivation? What am I doing? Disentangle. Secure, insecure, challenged. Oh my God, challenged, learner, complacent, arrogant, know-it-all, all of it. Own it. Know we have it all within ourselves. We can all be it. All of it. If we can see it in others, we have it in ourselves. If we can see somebody else hurting other people, we have it within ourselves. If it's in our life, it's ours. What do we have to do? Own it. Know we have it. Disentangle. Go back to being the actor. Take away the individuality. Take away that little thing that says, I'm a particular person. This goes to the wells that I always talk about, where if we live on the top of a well, we're all different particular people. If we go down in, we get to the groundwater, and we find we're all connected. And that individuality is gone. So your pain is my pain. If I'm looking at it that way, I don't want to hurt you. I'm going to get hurt. Does this make sense? Questions? Yeah.
This was a question that, like, for me, I feel like the whole thing with security has changed.
Mm-hmm.
And so then all of a sudden, like, you know, as you work, and you're in a situation that maybe is familiar, but like you've always been in like a certain situation or a certain place, and then all of a sudden you're so much more aware of, oh my goodness, this is really unsafe.
Uh-huh.
And then, you know, you were totally blind to the fact that you were completely unsafe where you were.
Yes, that was the thing with I was using the example of the German Jews. It's the thinking for so long that I'm in a safe, you know, if I grow up in it, you're swimming in it. So there isn't a sense, this is safe. This is normal. This is the way it is. It's not until we get out of it that we're all of a sudden, whoa. You're right. Absolutely. How many people thought they were safe and then they woke up and found? And how many people thought that they were going to keep going in that direction that they needed to? Because that was the solution, that was the way to go, that was the way. That's the only way. It's not only the only way, it's the way that's going to make it successful for me.
Because that's what I know.
That's what I know, and if I know it, then that's the way it is, and that's reality. No. So, no matter what the physical environment, war-torn, as dramatic and as intense and harmful on the physical plane as that, drought, we have no water. People aren't looking at that. That's a huge thing. What happens if we don't have water? We need water. Those things, natural disasters, all those things, you have that. And then you have ordinary life. Just ordinary life. It's all the same. It's always going to be the same thing. I can create insecurity in a very secure environment. I can create security and awareness in an insecure if I can disentangle. So we solve the external. If we've solved the external, then we look really silly to be maintaining. But that's what happens. And if I've known with a lot of you that the external no longer agrees with you, but you still are maintaining the internal thing. And that's when it's great, because then I can get rid of this now. Because I'm no longer getting agreement for this. I can't say, oh, it's because of the outside. It's all just inside me. And so then I have to actually do something about it. So our job is not to keep recreating it, but to keep pulling it back and bringing it down. Questions about that? Yeah.
what you were saying a few minutes ago about like you think you're safe, and then something happens where you, and it seemed like for me it felt like a slow process of realizing how unsafe it was.
Mhm.
How I was saying, like how do you get to where you can even see that the situation wasn't safe because you're so swimming in it?
It's really hard when you're swimming in it. That it has to be somebody else, something outside, something. Because if you're swimming in it, you were so sure. There wasn't any. There's no. That person who was the alcoholic doing all. They were so sure. Are they going to get out of it at that point? No. Are they ready to see that they're not safe? No. No, there has to be. That's why there's got to be a level of grace or something. Because even if you want to know that you're unsafe, you can't because you're safe. You know you're safe. Everything's right in the world. This is perfect. What's your problem? There is no problem. It's only and that's why people are not so interested in spiritual practice. They don't need to be doing anything. They know everything's fine. They know where happiness comes from. It comes from the next thing I buy. It comes from my desire being fulfilled at the moment. Then I have a new desire and I've got to fulfill it. And once it's fulfilled, I'm happy for 3 minutes. So I now know how to get happy. Just keep on getting my desires filled. That's it.
Right.
So, I'm not going to. And this requires hard work. This requires turning around and actually facing within ourselves, letting go, going into our heart and feeling what we're actually feeling. That's not good. That's not fun. It's not pretty. It's not popular and savvy and looking all really cool. It's hard work. And nobody else is going to see it. It's internal. Yeah. So. Anyone else? What happens when you own it all, though?
Doesn't run you.
Doesn't run you.
You have a choice.
You have choice. I could. A lot of fun. I could do this. Nah, not going to do. I have choice. What else?
And you have, at that point, you have love. You have even, I want to use the word power, but not like,
Mm-hmm.
but you do. Because I guess you have power because you do have a choice.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can be happy.
Mm-hmm.
And that, we've talked about this before in another class, the outside doesn't necessarily change, but on some level, the fact that you can sit with yourself, it is better.
Yep.
Even if the outside is not any better,
Mm-hmm.
your experience with it is better.
Right.
So it's better.
Yeah, there is a freedom. There's love. There's joy. There's happiness even in that. Even in that. I go to I haven't read it, but David told me about the story in Beloved with the slave that was always free.
Oh, yeah. So much of, it's a great novel, but so much of the novel is about people having to learn how to love themselves.
Mm-hmm.
But there's this one, having been traumatized, but there was this one slave named Sixo who, even under a brutal slave master, refused to identify with his captivity. He simply had his own interior life based on the ways of his ancestors. And even when they killed him in the end, he was laughing. And he had a different reason for laughing too. But but his laughter is emblematic of the fact that they never really owned him inwardly. He was never anyone's property inwardly.
Right.
He remained inwardly happy. In a way. Inwardly, he kept his love for himself and his independence.
Does that make sense? That's what we're talking about. Rabia was a slave, but she wasn't internally. That's the whole thing. It's internal. Yeah.
Sort of similar to Never Had a Bad Day.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And everyone would look at that situation and be like, "Why aren't you doing more?
More.
Why are you complacent?"
Right.
They would see that as complacency.
So what's the difference between complacent and what we're talking about now? That's a good one. Yeah.
With complacency, there's not necessarily a level of consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas what we're talking about, you're completely conscious, and it's not complacent. It's knowing what the situation is.
Right. And who does complacent? It's the small self.
Yeah.
So the small self is the one that's complacent. The small self is the one that's sitting in there and just going along and feeling it's fine and clouding. So complacency has a level of lazy, which has it has a component of tamasic, that inertia. Whereas what we're talking about is totally sattvic, conscious, alive, internally, connected to who they really are. So yes. That make clear? So, okay, let's take a couple of minutes. Give up secure, insecure, okay, complacent, challenged, arrogant, know-it-all, and modest learner. Give it all up. Let it go. Boom. Okay. Own it. Master. Transcend. And where do you do it? You have to do it in the heart. Let go and do it in the heart. neither secure nor insecure. Our job is to be the actor, not the character.